we are now moving to this next debate on the broadcast and Viewpoint this evening. And this has our focus on the state of West Bengal. Now, the death toll in the violence related to Panchayat elections in West Bengal has risen to 20 by today. Even as fresh polling was underway, nearly 700 polling booths across 19 districts of the state. Now remember, the West Bengal Panchayat election that was held on Saturday was marked by widespread violence resulting in the deaths of political workers, looting of ballot boxes and also destruction of the ballot papers. So needless to say, the state witnessed yet another bloody exercise of franchise in its rural polls. And with the state's dubious distinction of embarking on this political violence in the past as well, this isn't surprising at all. Although, what does seem to be a break from tradition is that this time around, the ruling dispensation in the state seems to mainly have been at the receiving end of the violence. That, coupled with the relatively low voter turnout of just 66.28%, which is almost 5 to 7% less than what was the voter turnout in Bengal as far as the elections are concerned, that in fact could also carry ominous signals for the Trinamool top brass. Meanwhile, sources are also suggesting that the violence could turn out to be a weapon for the Bharatiya Janata Party in the run-up to the Lok Sabha elections. And the party could use the same weapon to attack the opposition unity. And they've already started doing so, with the BJP state machinery and the union ministers already taking a dig at the Congress leader Rahul Gandhi amid the party's efforts to tie up with the Trinamool Congress for the Lok Sabha elections. So while the TMC would go ahead and still call this a script that is being prepared to show Bengal in a negative light, the crucial question still remains the same old. When will the violence stop in West Bengal?
এবং শুধু তাই নয়, আজকে সকালবেলা এসে বোম মেরেছে, গুলি চালিয়েছে। গুলির খোল যে অবশিষ্টাংশ পড়ে থাকে গুলি চালানোর পর, সেটা সাধারণ গ্রামবাসীরা পুলিশের কাছে তুলে দিয়েছে। পুলিশ অস্বীকার করার জায়গাতে নেই যে গুলি চলেনি।
Such violence I condemn because there should be a fair elections. Otherwise, there will be no democracy.
They have very cleverly chalked out a blueprint to create violence in the state of West Bengal, to make sure there is bloodshed, there is loss of life, so that they can portray Bengal in bad light.
Let me introduce the august panel on the broadcast this evening. Tausif Rahman of the TMC is with us. Also with us is Mr. Tuhin Sinha of the BJP, and Mr. Preetam Karmakar of the Congress Party is also with us. Welcome, gentlemen. Right now we have Tuhin and Preetam who have joined us on the broadcast. We are still waiting for a member of the Trinamool Congress to be with us on the broadcast. Tuhin, I'll begin with you, since BJP is in fact part of this political rumble in West Bengal more than the Congress Party, and the accusation that's been leveled against the BJP by the Trinamool Congress, the ruling dispensation in the state, is that you guys are responsible for the poll violence.
Well, good evening, Greha. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Well, TMC is synonymous with violence. You know, if you look at the data, 19 districts, 696 booths had to go for repolling. Now, I don't think even in the worst phase of Lalu-led Bihar in the 1990s, the situation was that bad. But it's that bad today in Bengal because, you know, one, there has been a legacy of violence from the level. Now, if you look at it, again, the two worst affected districts are Murshidabad and Malda, which have been the hub of writing in the TMC regime in the past, which have been the hub of illegal migration, presided over and supported by the TMC. And again, you know, 20 people losing their lives on a single day in Taliban-style violence. Why do we forget that even 2 years back, when TMC won the elections, they had celebrated by killing nearly, you know, more than 100 people, and for which they had been indicted by the High Court. So this culture of violence is intrinsic to the TMC, but this time, the scale of violence that they have, that Bengal has witnessed, they have rendered themselves as a party that is unfit to exist in modern democracy.
All right. Preetham, do you agree with the statement that's been made by the spokesperson of the BJP? I'd like to understand, there was a petition that you, as a Congress party, had also filed before the High Court as to claim, and in fact, we've lost that link with Preetham. I beg your pardon. We'll try and re-establish that connection. But we do have Tausif Rahman of the Trinamool Congress with us on the broadcast. Mr. Rahman, Tuhin of the BJP was making an earlier point that it is because of fear of election loss and also templated violence that has been set in West Bengal is because the Trinamool Congress has a lot to answer in the state. Your response?
See, anyone can come on national television and comment anything, but it is very sad what the people of Bengal is facing right now, and the people of Bengal are seeing each and everything from last 2 weeks what is happening in Bengal. You know, the barbarity and humanity are the prime qualities possessed by the BJP. You know, the same event happened today in Purba Mednipur Tamluk block, where All India Trinamool Congress town president Chanchal Khara was mercilessly thrashed by the BJP goons. I mean, even Khara's vehicle was set on fire. This is why the opposition was asking the deployment of central force? I mean, what they want to do? I mean, they just want to have this Talibani mindset, which is very sad. They were asking for, they always demanded something or the other, and we ask them, though, fine, that's how going to happen.
You know, Tausif and
But
Tuhin, both of you have a certain template when it is about the response as far as this violence in the state is concerned. Now, the accusation that we hear from experts is that the Trinamool Congress is very upset because right now what is happening as far as this Panchayat polls is that their leaders, their workers are at the receiving end of the violence, while on the other hand, in the past, we'd seen it otherwise. And Tuhin, the allegation against the BJP is that this is a template that you'd like to set ahead of the 2024 election. I'd let Tausif go first, and then I'll come back to Tuhin.
I mean, you see, they were first asking for central deployment. They were crying as well. More than 50,000 nominations happened peacefully before election. Now, when the election was, polling date was coming nearby, they started crying कि भाई हमारे साथ तो ये होने वाला है, हमारे साथ बहुत ज़्यादती होने वाली है. Because you see, they have 18 MPs in West Bengal. 18 MPs. I mean, that's a mandate from the people. That's the blessing and ashirwad they got from the people of West Bengal. But yes, they don't have a work chart. दिखाएंगे क्या? What vote are you going to ask from them? So because they have done nothing in last 5 years, now it is the time to start the bloodbath. Okay. I mean, while the opposition parties are claiming that Trinamool Congress is unleashing violence on them, the reality is completely opposite. In past 48 hours, 10 All India Trinamool leaders have been killed and several have been grievously injured. I mean, he was attacked by the Congress workers on the polling day for Raghunganj, Murshidabad as well. I mean, who's going to answer that? Who's going to answer that? Just
right,
because
Tuhin,
we are in the power, so you will start to call all your unwanted friends in the Bengal and torture 12 crore people of Bengal.
Got your point. But Tuhin,
I mean, this
statement that's coming in from the TMC, they are also on the similar logic that's the Talibani mindset of the BJP in the state of West Bengal, and that's why we see them unleash the violence. How does one read the statements that are coming? It's almost similar responses. It's your word against the TMC's word.
There is not a single state in India where BJP is not active today. We contest elections even in Nagaland, Arunachal. We have a government in Manipur. Now, there is not a single state where our cadres have indulged in violence. So where do, on the other hand, when in Bengal, violence is commonplace. It is the legacy of the left parties and then the TMC. So where do they make these allegations? We are in much stronger position across the country in some of the other states where, if these allegations were to be true, we could have easily usurped those seats. Now, I will tell you the simple modus operandi of the TMC. They wanted to win most of the seats unopposed in 2018 in the preceding Panchayat elections. Because of this environment of fear which they had managed to create, they managed to win 34% of the seats unopposed. This time it is as low as 12%. That is what has rattled the TMC. They wanted to increase the number because at least, at the lower levels, they wanted a complete free run. In the Panchayat polls, they didn't want any competition. Now that there is grassroots support for the BJP, it rattles them. And if there has been some violence against the TMC, please understand that when you sow a culture of violence, at some point or the other, you will be at the receiving end because people are upset with you.
Of course.
Okay.
It's all right. Can I come in, please, for 2
Tosif, I will
seconds?
let you come in. I'll let you respond to what Tuhin has just said. But let me bring in Preetam Karmakar, who's just waiting for his turn to respond. I wanted to understand the earlier question that I was asking you, Preetam, that the Congress had put forth a petition before the court that these elections be rendered null and void. Now that there has been repolling in almost 700 of the polling stations in various districts of West Bengal, is the Congress content? And do you think now the results that come about will be something that will be agreeable to the Congress party?
First of all, I would like to start with that on the very first polling day, it's a polling day. On the very first polling day, I was also in a channel and I started and I projected a point which I would like to stick even today is that which way we are moving. We call ourselves human beings and we consider ourselves so-called the most improved and the most smarter species. And what we are doing over here, persons, human blood is being scattered, human lives are being brutally brutally murdered.
Yeah, that's an
and we
ideal
are
statement
ready,
that you're
we are
making,
busy
Preetam, but there
in
is
a
accusation against the Congress also to rage violence against members of the TMC. So I don't know how can the Congress have an upper ground and that kind of an utopian say. I want you to understand and answer the simple question. Don't you think Congress is equally partaking in the violence which is emanating out of the state of West Bengal? We can't just go ahead and blame, let's say, the TMC and the BJP only for it because you're equal partners.
I must say, it was my only point that we are strongly in against of any sort of human casualties.
Okay.
Number one. Number two, who are in the powers now, in the state as well as in the center? Both ruling parties are on the power now and nothing is in our hand. We are comparatively weaker over there and we must weaker in terms of forces. And so how the question comes for us to be the responsible one among them? I must tell you, I must clarify, it's a clear binary version which is being played. The central, the one which is on the central is throwing mud towards the one in the state, and of the state they are repeating the same, and they are simply diverting. They are simply diverting the visions and the actual position of ours, the price rise. And whatever is going,
right.
they
Quick
are
point,
busy
Tosif.
in diverting
How do you respond?
it. You
to
tell me one thing.
How do you respond to this
oppose.
allegation and also what Tuhin has said?
It
Yeah,
was-
Tosif.
Ma'am, I would appreciate that if you give me 30.
Yeah, please go ahead. Tosif, are you able to hear
for the
us?
people of Bengal and for the people of India, because they need to know the fact. BJP is very happy for all these 34 people who have lost their life. They are very happy. They are very excited. Now hame vote milega. 34 people have lost their life. You are talking about uncontested seat in Bengal. Tripura, 12%. Uttar Pradesh, 40% uncontested seat. Madhya Pradesh, 835% contested seat. Go and check your facts. Now, coming back to double face, what they are doing in Bengal, moreover, not a single incident of violence has been reported from districts like Hooghly, Paschim, Bardhaman, Bakura, Purulia, Jharkhand,
What about
Jalpaiguri,
Murshidabad?
Howrah, Paschim Medinipur.
What about
Dakshin
Murshidabad?
Dinajpur,
All the
Bhilwara, Uttar
175
Dinajpur.
polling
The
booths,
opposition
repolling has been
have
announced
placed
there.
demands.
Tosif, that's an important
Yes,
question.
ma'am.
What about that? You will actually single out all
No,
the
but
districts
that's
where
what-
there's
no,
no
this is what
violence that's
again-
been reported from. But what about one single district where there is repolling that's been announced as 175 seats? That is the
Man,
number.
you need to understand across Bengal there are 60,000 plus booths, but only a handful number of booths, approximately 60 booths, have witnessed disruption during the polling process.
All right.
Does this not signify
Okay, quick
that some
point.
of the news
Tuhin,
channel and opposition
let me
collectively
go back to
are
Tuhin.
trying
This is
to
the
get
last
us
question that I
different
have the
narrative?
time for. Tuhin, this is the allegation that right now BJP is making about an alliance of the Congress and the TMC. Do you think it's the right time to be making that point? Tuhin, quick point. 10 seconds you have.
No, absolutely. The Congress, the hypocrisy of Rahul Gandhi makes the Congress party complicit in this violence presided over by the TMC. I am asking the Congress spokesperson over here, the Congress representative over here, will Rahul Gandhi demand the ouster of Mamata Banerjee from the opposition meet till she apologizes
Why
for this
are you
violence?
supporting the independent candidates with Congress, ISF and CPM? Do you know? I would tell you, there are more than 100
Okay, we'll have to
candidates in
actually
West
wait for the
Bengal,
next
independent.
opposition meet that happens to see what is the camaraderie between the TMC and the Congress. We'll have to unfortunately leave it at that. That's all the time that I had on Viewpoint. Thank you so much for watching.